there was a lot of black women, black content creators who were making videos about how other black women were bullying Keke Palmer for being pregnant by this dude, and as long as she's happy, and y'all need to stop coming down on black women who making their own decisions for their lives, and y'all black women just bitter and lonely, and you just mean and hateful, and you just want to see other black women miserable like you and all this other stuff. Remember what all these black women said when she came out as pregnant, and I made a video saying, why are we excited about this? Like, I was trying to keep black women on focus because there's something wrong with black women's ass, which is why I don't really be having a lot of sympathy for situations like this, because black women are the issue. They love getting their asses dragged and beat up.
All right. So first and foremost, Matrix, hashtag exposed, live. You do your thing. You've been doing your thing for some time on here. You are consistent. You've always been consistent. And this is not me trying to attack anybody. I just want to say a few things because that was just one example I wanted to use. There was a few videos I watched by a few of the usual commentators in this particular area on YouTube who had something to say about Keke Palmer's situation. Normally, I don't really care a whole lot about celebrities' personal lives. I hardly even care about their creative lives. I don't really keep up with too much stuff these days. But this is a little bit bigger than just a celebrity story because it involves domestic violence, it involves potential child abuse or child endangerment. And I really don't think that it's empowering to black women to turn this into just yet another gender war topic, or to act as if black women have somehow brought this on themselves. Like, this is one person's particular situation in their very personal life. Unfortunately, it was brought to the public sphere due to the predator making their business public. Now, the only thing I have to say is that it would have been public either way because thankfully Keke did file a restraining order, so that's public information. And I'm glad that she did that, but I believe that she was trying to resolve her situation as privately as possible, but it got to the point where it was it obviously was not going to be able to be solved privately, so she had to do what she had to do. But the people's, like, a lot of black women's takes on this situation are disappointing to me because at the end of the day, you don't victim blame. You might have a point to prove about uh, black women, their collective lack of boundaries or codependence or things of that nature. Um, you might have your own moral perspective on whether or not black women should be having children outside of marriage. A lot of you, to me, seem to be inconsistent in that. In general, it just seems like these particular black women don't want any black children created anymore. And I mean, that's not going to happen. I don't understand stuff like that. Like, I can't personally be invested in solutions that are not grounded in reality. That's not going to actually occur. So why don't we talk about something that can happen? What I think matters the most in situations like this is understanding that in true sisterhood and true empowerment circles, you would be as supportive to the victim as possible and enable them empower them with the resources so that they can move from the space of being the victim into being the survivor, because that's a different thing. Being a survivor is a different mentality than being a victim. And when you offer them those types of spaces and those types of resources, that is truly empowering. And also making the predator plain. This man had no right to put his hands on anybody. and he had no right to put anybody in danger, and particularly an innocent child. And to act as if there was just something that Keke Palmer could have or should have done to have avoided all this is victim blaming. And it's disingenuous as a motherfucker. And the fact that anybody would act like this is solely a problem for black women is just disgusting. So another thing that I find interesting is like, not this is not just about Matrix. I don't want to make it just about her. It's just the idea that black women bring it on themselves is something that I just cannot, I just cannot co-sign at all. If anything, he brought this on himself. He has a restraining order because he brought that on himself. He's going to potentially lose custody of his child because he did that. He brought that on himself. It is not about, oh, she could have did something else so that she didn't end up in this situation. Like it's very close to the kind of mentality of like, well, what were you wearing? And why did you go to his house at that time of night? Why did you invite him over? It doesn't matter what anybody had on. It doesn't matter under what any circumstances that you entered a relationship or had a child. Nobody has the right to abuse you. The situation could be, it doesn't matter if he has like no money or if he's a billionaire. You really believe that if people make more money? Now I'm talking about somebody else. I'm not talking about Matrix, because I listened to a few people and they said they were all saying some stupid ass shit. Okay, you really think that if somebody makes more money than you, that they're not going to abuse you? This is not about hashtag not all. It's about y'all not being fucking victim blamers. Like that. That's what it's about. It doesn't matter if they were married. Why the fuck should they be married? First of all, I'm so disappointed by any of these women that claim to be in black empowerment spaces, like black woman empowerment spaces, that still cling on to patriarchy. Like, oh, she should have been married first. She should have been married first. What in the fuck does that have to? What, she should have married this motherfucker? I mean, I don't really give too much of a fuck about like um, hypergamy, because hypergamy is not like that difficult to achieve. It's pretty much a standard norm in most relationships, including black relationships. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't black women that get involved with bum ass dudes, but I'm just saying most people get into relationships where the man makes more money. Maybe he doesn't make significantly more, but he does make more. And if he makes less, I mean, that's that is her choice. I don't think that if the man makes more, he's going to beat your ass. I mean, excuse me, that if the man makes less, he's going to beat your ass. I don't think that tracks. I think abusers abuse people. That's it. That's all. But if you really wanted to empower somebody, especially a millionaire such as Keke Palmer or a billionaire such as Rihanna, because I saw some people in the comments saying, "Oh, Rihanna's pregnant again too." Rihanna's a fucking billionaire. She can do whatever the fuck she wants with her life. Okay? Now, if to me, in my opinion, and it's only my personal opinion, Rihanna, Kiki, and all these types of women are better off not being married. They can have as many children as they want to have. If they want to have a child, they can do that if that's what they want to do. If they're like sexually coerced, or if they're like forcibly impregnated, like, I'm not saying like, you know, I'm not trying to be like too drastic with it, but if these women were stealthed, if the men went behind their back and like, took the condom off in the middle of sex or something like that, and they chose to not have an abortion, for one, that would be their choice. That would be their choice, but I would never blame somebody for going through with the pregnancy if they didn't believe in abortion. Okay? Like, it is what it is. If they were somehow abused into a pregnancy, that would be a different matter. But if they are willing to engage in consensual sex, get pregnant, have a child, then they have all rights to do so. It doesn't have anything to do with this person crossing the line and being physically abusive, verbally abusive, mentally abusive, financially abusive, whatever, any under any category of abuse, it is the abuser's fault. That is the person who is to blame, and that is the person who should be held accountable. But it's so funny because these women on one side of their mouth will say, oh, like the manosphere is now saying that he's the victim. But then you will say, black women, it's your fault. You let this happen because you weren't married, because he was broke, because you fucked him. Like, it's not her fault. It is not her fault. It's still not her fault. I don't give a fuck what you say. And you should provide to a space for her to land so that she knows that she has a community. So one thing that Matrix did say, and I gotta go, but one thing Matrix did say was that this is why nobody cares. Nobody cares about you when you get beat, and that's just some bullshit. Maybe y'all don't care, but there are actually systems in place that show that they care. That's why she's able to get a fucking restraining order. That's why she's able to file for custody, and she'll have her day in court, and we'll see what happens. That's why you can call the police. Okay, see, that's the thing. Y'all be out here looking for just the community to help you when we live in fucking America. I've said this shit years ago. We live in America. We don't need a bunch of group of niggas to come and swoop you up whenever you get hurt. You can call the motherfucking cops. You can call the cops. You can file a restraining order. You can send a nigga to jail. Okay? If a bunch of dusty niggas don't care, and if a bunch of wayward bitches don't care, you don't need these niggas to care. You can go to court. You have rights. I mean, damn. I'm done. I'm actually done. I have to go anyway. But y'all, stop victim blaming. That's not black empowerment. That ain't helping shit. Keke Palmer did not deserve that under any circumstance. It doesn't matter if she fucked a dusty, if she fucked a rich man, if she was married first, if she fucked a nigga or an Asian man or a white man or whatever the fuck. What kind of weird like y'all? No, no, and no.